We want you to appreciate the contrast because it will always surround you. And appreciating it rather than opposing it puts you in a very good position. When you appreciate variety, and you do mostly, you appreciate variety when it comes to clothing or vehicles. You appreciate variety when it comes to your food buffet. In fact, often the more choices there are, the better you like it, because the more opportunity you have to really select according to your preferences to please yourself in a more complete way. Yes? And yet when it comes to the variety of lifestyles or bodily conditions or financial conditions, often our human friends seem to want to just eradicate the planet from the things they don't want, thinking that in the absence of what is wanted, they'll find more. In the absence of what is not wanted, they will find more of what is wanted. But the opposite of that is true, because every time you are aware of something unwanted, you send forth a request for a preference or a desire for its equal opposite improvement. So if you had the ability, and you don't, if you had the ability to rid an environment of all of the unwanted things, you would at the same time be ridding your future environment of improved things. You see how it works? If you don't know what you don't want, you cannot know what you do want. Now, sometimes we can hear you saying it even now, Abraham, give us a break. Because there are plenty of things that I am certain you're saying that we could do just as well without. We don't need sickness, you might be saying. And yet we want to say to you that the evolution of your species and the wellness, in fact, of your species exists because generations from past have experienced things that have caused them to ask, even cellular requests, one-celled organisms. Every point of consciousness is experiencing a condition from which you are asking for improvement. And so we just want you to know that the contrast that you think you don't want is something that you really do want, because it is at the basis of all expansion. Of course, you want to get to a place where you are able to consider the contrast and choose more wisely, and you begin to do that in time with your beliefs, don't you? In other words, you could visit what you would call a very much underdeveloped country, and you could see the poverty or squalor or lack of nice living that they may be experiencing. And you may say, I think the world could do without that. And we say, we agree with you. It is nice that you were born into an environment where you were surrounded by things so much better than that, that you were able to believe in better just because it was right in front of you. We just don't want you to need it to be right in front of you before you believe in better. Because when the now reality has to be everything that you want it to be before you can look at it and create positively, then you are so limited in what you create. And you're not just limited because it has to manifest so that you can see it before you can believe it, although that is true for most people. Show it to me and I'll believe it. That is the attitude of most people. And we say, when you remember who you really are, and you remember that you have the ability to believe it because you feel it, and because the larger part of you knows it even before it is manifested in a way that you can see it, when you reach the place that you can believe because of your vibrational alignment with the expansion, then your creation really gets rolling, and the fun of creation is really something that you are experiencing all the time. Most humans do not believe past their ability to observe conditions. And the problem with that is the contrast which could be serving you doesn't serve you very well, because you're so busy in the sorting of what is that you just keep mucking up your vibrational patterning. We want you, as a result of our conversation here with you today, we want you to leave this gathering remembering that you are a creator. meaning you are the creator of that which you are. You are the creator, and the reason you are the creator is because you are a vibrational being who focuses the vibration of your being through the thoughts you think. Whatever you are giving your attention to is a focusing of energy. And when you know that, and you reestablish your conscious awareness of your guidepost of that which you are using for alignment. We'll talk about that fully in just a moment. When you remember about your guidance, when you remember that you are vibrationally a vibrational being mostly, when you remember that you are a creator who focuses, and that you focus through thought, and that you guide the focus of your thought through your emotional guidance system, when you remember those things, then you begin really joyously romping through the days of your lives. Then you begin to live as you intended to live when you came forth into this plethora of variety with the express intention of coming to new personal conclusions, and then getting the fun of lining up with those conclusions, and then watching the evidence of the manifestation of those conclusions. And we're not just talking about the car you put in the garage, or the lover you bring to your bed, or the money you put in your bank account. We're talking about everything that you perceive, you putting an improved version of it into your vibrational reality, into your vortex of creation. Here's how it works. Before you came into this body, you were source energy. Many of you suspect that. Some of you have come to really know it. You have to, as you look around your planet and acknowledge that brilliant and wise and wonderful as you are, you cannot scrape enough dirt together to launch another Earth into orbit. In other words, there's something bigger going on than what you have here in this physical time-space reality. And so often you understand that there was something before you got here. And we want to tell you that not only did you exist before a part of that consciousness came into this physical body, but even now that the consciousness has come into your physical body, that larger part of you still exists in non-physical form. Even better, as you in your physical body, out here on the leading edge, pioneer that you knew you would be, genius creator, sifting through the details of this leading edge time-space reality, you knew that when you know what you don't want, you would know what you do want, even if you did not put language behind it. Because when someone's rude, you want them to be nicer. When you're rude, you want to be nicer. When you don't have enough of something you want or need, you want it. When you have too much of something you don't want, you want the absence of it. In other words, all day, every day, you are sifting through variety and coming to new conclusions or preferences. And when you do, that preference emanates from you vibrationally, and the larger part of you embraces it and becomes it and adds it to the total mix. In short, what happens whenever you sift and sort, which is all day, every day, you are becoming, vibrationally speaking, more and more and more. And everything that you, in your human body, feel and live all day, every day, is exactly the following. It is the vibrational relationship between you and what you're doing right now with this thought, and you and what you're doing in the vortex of creation with who you really are. Another way of saying it is, all day, every day, you expand vibrationally. The larger part of you. Oh, the larger part of you. When we talk about the larger part of you, we're talking about the source part of you. And we mean not in the slightest to diminish the magnificence of that which is you, but that which is you is minuscule in proportion to that which is vibrationally you. You are source energy, you see. So when you in your physical form cause an expansion of you, now you have emotions that let you know the vibrational proximity between who you have become and who you're letting yourself be right here and now. If in this moment of your physicality, you are focused upon someone and you are loving them completely, there is no gap between you and you, because who you really are is loving them completely. If who you are in your physical time-space reality is finding fault with someone, criticizing them, condemning them, looking at their flaws or lacks, disliking them, not loving them, then you have a vibration going on with you because of the focus of your attention, which even by earth standards you may say is perfectly justified. If we did a poll, you would say almost everyone on the planet would agree with me of the abhorrence of that individual. And we say, Everybody may be agreeing with you as physically focused, but the hate and anger and revenge that is present within you is your indicator that you're way off the beam of how the source within you is feeling about the same. So when you begin to understand that the source within you is one who always loves, and when you find reason not to love, you deprive yourself of the fullness of who you are, then you begin to understand your guidance system in the way it was intended and in the way you wanted to experience it when you decided to come forth. You said, I'll go forth and I'll sift through the contrast and I'll come to conclusions about what I prefer. But then you said, oh, hear this. Then you said, once a preference has been born within me, I will give my undivided attention to the new decision. I will focus upon that which will be vibration only in the beginning, but I will focus upon that which is vibration only in the beginning so substantially, so completely, in such a focused way that before I know it, I will have trained all of me into vibrational alignment with the new request that I have made. And then when there's no gap in me, when there's no vibrational diversity within me on that subject, it will manifest fully. In other words, it is only your own vibrational resistance, your own vibrational gap, your own vibrational difference from who you really are that prevents you from anything that life has caused you to identify that you want. An easy way to hear it is, if you're sick, you got more thoughts about sickness going on than you do